What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs have a tough road ahead still. They just came off of that 4-game road trip. Talked about. They have 10 out of 16 games on the road going into that road trip. They now finished that road trip 2-2. Obviously, I would have loved to finish that 3-1. That Minnesota game, tough loss in my opinion. That one, it felt like the Spurs had control. It felt like the Spurs were in business. Just kind of let that slip through their hands, gave up a 25-7 run. Not winning very many games that way. But hey, how do you respond? How do you bounce back? You got a Minnesota or a Memphis game at home. Got to get that win. Have to. All right, like you just came off of a loss, 1. 2, you just came off of a 4-game road trip. You need to kind of win the home games where you can. You play Minnesota or Memphis. Got Minnesota from last game on my mind. Memphis. Then you follow that up with another 4-game road trip. And this one is against the Orlando Magic, who are a good basketball team. The Cleveland Cavaliers, very good basketball team. The New Orleans Pelicans, okay, you should be. And then the in-season tournament game, which will be like a playoff level basketball game against the Los Angeles Lakers, who have home court, who are probably going to be fully healthy at that point. We'll see if the Spurs are, right? If Wemby and everybody's fully healthy at that point. That'll be kind of interesting to see. But also, it's a game against a team that already beat you once, right? And we saw what happened in the Suns game where you took the L to the Suns in the first go around. Now's your chance for that revenge game. And you ended up getting ran out, right? So this next coming stretch, again, going to be tough. It's going to be brutal. Hopefully we get Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama back at some point. At least at the time of recording this video, we don't have any word on when or if they're coming back anytime soon. A couple weeks away. We're already, week into it, well into a week into it, right? Because they basically started messing around the Kings game, which was on the 16th. So now once we get to do they bring them back on the road trip is the question. Or does everyone kind of come back during the Wizards game? It'll be kind of interesting to see and kind of keep an eye on if like Wemby and Castle kind of, travel with the team during some of these games, or if you kind of have them staying back for rehab or whatever. These are again tough matchups, but I mean I'd love everyone to be back the Grizzly game, right? That could be a real possibility. I mean, we got the Dylan Harper news, right? That hey, Dylan Harper is approaching a comeback, that he's ramping up activity, and then like a couple days later, he was back, right? And it was like, wow, okay, right? That's great, right? And he ends up coming back. So hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, you get something where, we get some news that like, hey, they're ramping up activity or whatever, and then get back, and then you can kind of rattle off some wins. Because it'd be really nice to see this team finally fully healthy, starting to put everything in action, start to develop and build the things that you want to build on. I give the Spurs team credit. They've been very resilient. Right? That early success really helped this team and helped this team a lot because, they've been able to kind of weather the storm. But even despite all that, they've still been able to kind of, again, tread water, stay above, keep their head above. Right, rather than sinking in. Talked about it. After those 2 Warrior games, that would have been a very easy time to just completely fall apart and crumble. And you would have had the built-in excuses, right? We don't have our best player. Our second best player is just coming back, right? Like we're a young, inexperienced team. Right? Like it's just, we got all these road games and all this other stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it would have been really easy for this team to just kind of pack it in. And you lose those 2 Warrior games, and how do you respond? Rattling off 3 straight games, getting the homestand in the green, gearing up and preparing for that road trip. And I talked about on that road trip, you gotta at least go 2-2, bare minimum. Obviously, I wanted 3-1. Disappointed in the Minnesota loss. They happen. It's fine. Right? We've seen a couple games now, Minnesota, that second Warriors game, the Lakers game. Those games in particular really stand out as a team that like you really saw the inexperience in, right? Like, those teams been there, done that, know how to execute, knows how to close down the stretch, and Spurs kind of just let the Minnesota game get away from them. Several of those games, but again, you finished 2-2, beautiful, love it, right? Now you got that Memphis game, which has to be a win. It has to, in my opinion. Like, that is very pivotal because you lose that game, right? And then now you're going on that tough road trip. You can really easily start to get behind the 8 ball here. Right now, you're still a top 5 seed. You're only 2 games back from falling deep into the play-in. So, you go on a significant losing streak here. You look up, you're a play-in team. And a deep play-in team. You lose another significant streak. All of a sudden, you could find yourself deep, like in the second back end of the play-in, or maybe even missing the play-in. It's the West. If we weren't in the Wild West, there'd be very different conversations, very different kind of breakdowns and stuff like that. Very different videos to be made. Got to beat Memphis. Beat Memphis, no problem. You right the ship. Then between the Magic, the Cavs, the Pelicans, and the Lakers, you have to win, again, at least 2 of those. You have to at least go 2-2. Got to get the Pelicans win, and then you got to win 1 against the Magic, the Cavs, or the Lakers. Right? You look at that stretch, the Lakers, because it's an in-season tournament game, and then you get to go to the next round. I just think it'd be good experience for the Spurs, right? To kind of get, obviously it's not the playoffs, but it's reffed like a playoff game. It's played like a playoff game. I think it'd be nice to kind of get as many of those under your belt as possible to prepare yourself for the actual playoffs. Kind of get that atmosphere on the road, right? If you can win those road games, I think that would be huge. But nonetheless, you gotta beat one of the Magic, the Cavs, and the Lakers, assuming that you do what you're supposed to do and beat the Pelicans, because you could easily drop 1 against the Pelicans, and then again things get ugly quick. So very important, very vital. This stretch is, again, and the thing is, these stretches don't get easier. It really doesn't. I mean, after this stretch, you got 1 game at home against the Wizards, 2 games against the Hawks and the Wizards, and then you play the Thunder back-to-back, and then you play the Jazz, and then the Cavs and the Knicks. This month is going to be, this month could be make or break for the Spurs, like just being in the West. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, past question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.